Hello, YouTubers. It's Mr. Zan over here with another Fairy Tale Zero review for episode 2. Now, this episode, oh, this one was kind of a little bit different from your usual fairy tale episode, where it's just all action based and just magic thrown everywhere. There's, of course, there is some kind of magic in this episode, but in this episode, it was more of a like a trivia game kind of episode, even though it's part of the main storyline, which is so funny because usually you think this happens in more like these filler kind of episodes, but no, this episode was actually pretty lighthearted and you know and like light tone seriousness, But in the episode, it first starts off with Mavis talking to Azura to Azura, and then and from the previous episode we see that you know we thought that she died, and everybody's like here thinking like, oh crap, where's we can't believe that hero actually like killed somebody, but in the back of our mind, of course, most fairy tale fans, as you all know, hero's not gonna kill someone. Nah, not even in this storyline. But in this episode, we see that it's been 7 years since the last previous encounter for us, since the red lizard gang, yeah, the red lizard guild for with the blue skull. So we just see that Mavis is living a peaceful time throughout on Tenrio Island, and when it last leaves off is from Pract, Warraid, and Yuri. They're coming on the island, and what they're looking for is the Tenrio Jade. So they split up, hoping to cover more tracks. But out of all three of them, Yuri Dreyer, or Makarov's father, actually finds Mavis. He's the first one who actually meets and confronts Mavis, which is so funny because he's like Makarov's family is like really important in Hero's storyline. Like you can see that they become something really important to the Fairy Tale Guild. But just in this episode so far, it's just we just see Yuri just he just meets Mavis for the first time, and their conversation wasn't really not as negative as you would think it would be. It was actually very straightforward. At first, of course, knowing Mavis, how very she kind of like second guessed Yuri for like his appearance coming here. Just like think like, oh, you're here just researching for some botany. Of course she's not thinking like, oh, and she tested him. This is the thing that she tested to see if he was really telling the truth. And what's funny is that Yuri was as he kept lying to Mavis. Mavis kept throwing these some little hints and like thinking like, okay, is he really telling the truth? So let me just let me tell him like if he's really gonna be telling the truth, let me tell him this and this and this and so forth. Then she actually figures out that Yuri was actually lying the whole time, that he's not really there for plants, since because the plant that Yuri was telling Mavis was apparently already had, there was already a vaccine for it, so there really was no point for you to be there if he was really researching just botany there. And Mavis figures out that, oh, you know what are you really here for? And it kind of showcases that, like, already that Mavis is already a tactician. That's what I like about Mavis, is that she's just a battle prone tactician. She wins. She's very she's always thinking ahead. And Yuri was just noticing right there at that point, like, okay, you got me, of course, haha. I'm here looking for the Tenryou Jade. So then she was like, then you just see that their connection just starts their lives just start intertwining. They're like, oh, okay, you're here for the Tenryou Jade. I can't let you do that. Knowing that she knows where it's at. So then they get a little bit of an argument. So then they have this game, and in this game, now this is where it gets pretty funny right here for the episode, is that Yuri then challenges Mavis to like a little like a basically like a truth or dare kind of game. It's basically, and the the loser has to well, for Yuri, if he loses, he has to leave the island, of course. But if Mavis loses, she has to give the location of the stone without no fight, and they'll leave on their way. So, and Mavis was actually happy, saying that, oh, I can actually win this. I can win this in one turn, because this truth or dare game is just basically that they just like have to tell each other like, oh, I have eyes, or you know uh I have what was another question that they actually said, that oh, I'm 20 years old, I'm a teenager, so forth. So it's kind of like a truth or, is it like it's almost like a truth or dare kind of game there, but with some magic involved, because Yuri takes out a little magical cube, and like it's like with a seal that says that, oh, if you lie, the magic circle will know that you're lying. So as they continue talking, they give a little first test run, and in the first test run, Yuri wins. And when Yuri wins, he's already confident, like, oh, I'm gonna beat this. But in reality, Yuri actually lost in the first test run, which is so funny, because Mavis actually tells him that, because of the set of rules that Yuri placed there, Yuri would have lost. He didn't realize it, of course. He's already thinking, like, he was so overly confident that, of course, she's not gonna win. He's thinking that she's like a little innocent girl, because they're just judging from the way that she's speaking. But that's because Mavis is actually she's just playing little strings on him. And in reality, like, the way that Mavis was handling the situation was very calm and collected, and it looked like she actually like could win. And then I'm saying and then a lot here throughout this conversation. From there on, of course, they continue the game. Excuse me. We see that Mavis actually tells Yuri that I'm still gonna beat you in one turn. You know, Yuri thinking that, oh no, of course she's not. That's not possible. No one can win this game in one turn. So Mavis says a statement to Yuri that, you know you have blinked like 27. No, it was like 57 times. I believe it was 57, or like near the hundreds, from what I remember. And then that's where Yuri is trapped, and this is where Mavis's tactical logic right there just really just showcased how her studying in the Tenru Island really paid off. And I'm here thinking, like, wow, of course in real life logic, of course that wouldn't really be the case. Of course it would be more like she'd be like a little innocent girl, like, oh, 7 years trapped in an island. So probably like a little ditzy girl, or something away from society. Of course in real life that wouldn't really happen, but of course, in fairy tale, of course, 7 years of training for the brain means nothing can stop you. You'll be a force to be reckoned with. But we see that sorry, I ate some oatmeal cookies. That's why I kind of swallowed a little hard there. There we see that Yuri actually even admitted defeat right there, which was so ironic, because he was so overconfident throughout the whole situation that he actually lost. And we see that, he was amazed at like that, like how how she like thwarted Yuri right there. And here I am thinking, like, that was actually a pretty smart tactic right there, because he couldn't he could Yuri couldn't lie in that force field. So if he said that, oh yes, but he didn't know if it was either if it was right or not, if he really did blink that as many times, or if he said no, it's regardless of the outcome, he lost the minute she said that. And I were thinking, like, man, that was a lighthearted battle right there. I'm sorry for laughing, because it just goes to show just how comical the meeting was for these two. That just goes to show how their friendship is just starting. That they're gonna be really lifelong friends right there. You could tell that it's just their meeting was It almost felt like fate, you know. It felt so like natural, you know, just like a little flow right there, you know. I thought I thought it was like a nice encounter that for a first person that they meet here in Fairy Tale. It was your traditional battle scene where, oh, fight me and now we're best friends if I beat you, you know, like, you know, traditional shonen jump. No, it was actually very different. It felt more like there was a flow there. And you see the pregnant ward that come in and they and they see they like just, you know, start goofing around. Oh yeah, at the end of the game, of course, after Mavis wins, the whole point of the game was pointless because the pregnant ward, they actually see that the Tenryou J wasn't even at the island. So they Yuri did all that for nothing, which I kind of found it so funny when they said that scene. Oh, because I'm just like here thinking, oh man, all that hard work for nothing. Oh man, I'm thinking like, you know, Mavis then she actually wants to join Yuri's group right there, back to Magnolia. Yeah, back to Magnolia. Once the whole thing was once the whole shenanigans was done in the island, because they figured out that the Ten J wasn't even at the island. So she says, "Oh, let me go back because I know who it is," and that's where the episode kind of like leaves off. That they're sailing on towards, and throughout the episode, you know, you really notice that it was in the it was very had a nice flow to it. Fairy Tail ZerØ is very calm. You know, you can see that like they're this kind of this whole story is really in a world of its own. You know, it's a nicely paced story, and I personally find it interesting now that Mavis, you know, is just so innocent and just so cute there. You know, it's like, you know, you're just wondering like just what kind of adventures these people are gonna have. You know, but this is Mr. Zen signing out. Let me know in the comments what you think about this episode. You know, and don't forget to subscribe.